I'm amazed when I see 75 years. I think our founders, I think the people who built our city would be proud of what we've accomplished. There are people out here who are thinking about investing in Avondale and building a business. Why would you invest in a city that gets satisfied, that is satisfied with who they are? I will tell you that the team in Avondale strives for excellence. The council looks for excellence. If you look at the leadership team we have put together over the last few years, sorry Juan, sorry Eric, it is the best team in the Valley, bar none. And I'm not saying that because they're sitting around me. I'm telling you, I've been on council for 14 years and I've worked with some teams. Best team I've ever seen. Second, why would you invest in a city that doesn't invest in itself, right? You're going to invest millions of dollars. Eric's Family Barbecue invested your life savings. Ryan and Christina, where are you at? Invested your life savings, still work a second job? Why would you invest in a city that doesn't invest in itself? So let me give you some examples of investment in Avondale. You heard about the Boulevard. The Metro Phoenix area's latest multi-use facility. We've invested $5 million in Avondale Boulevard. Yes, it's the median, and it's with the white and black checkerboard tiles, and it's the palm trees. But you saw the lake, and you saw the water. You've seen the investments that we're making there. That tells developers, that tells people who are going to invest their hard money, the city has a stake in what you're doing. You should be here too. You look at historic Avondale. Our team working with CDBG to bring funds to redo 4 businesses. Avondale has a lot of businesses. They spent time to invest in 4 businesses in historic Avondale to redo the facades, to bring in more businesses, to perk up the streetscape. That story goes throughout the entire city. Out of all the cities in the Valley and all the cities in the state, and Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, Avondale probably has top 3 water portfolio of the entire state. Okay? Water in the desert means a lot. It's like beer in Milwaukee, right? Water in the desert means a lot. So 2020, I think we'd all agree, not the best year on record, right? I mean, we had COVID. I don't even want to use the C word tonight. We had COVID. We had an election. And we had civil unrest. But despite that, our team in Avondale came together. They came together as a group, but they came together with our residents, and they came together with our businesses. Estrella Mountain Community College came to us sometime in, I think, July or August, looking for Wi-Fi, upgraded Wi-Fi. Our IT team was able to work with them to expand Wi-Fi for our city facilities so their students could get online. That's why Avondale is so special. That's what Avondale does. We're a family that comes together in times of need. So I'm going to read some of these items off my paper, because if I don't, I'm going to miss some of them. So over the last 5 years, City Council, City Leadership, and Team Avondale have worked diligently on putting together a cohesive strategic plan that focuses on diversity of industries. So basically employers, diverse our employer base, quality of life, key infrastructure investments, and building healthy financial reserves that would allow us to navigate any storm that hit our shores. Now, this strategic plan has been planned for 5 years, and most cities do a 5-year plan, and they'll tweak it every year. And after every 5 years, they look at it and say, okay, are these still the areas we want to focus on, or have we gotten past that? So we did this plan before COVID hit, and I knew our plan was strong. And Mike, I think you'll remember, we talked about it a couple State of the Cities ago, and I said, I want Avondale to forge its own path. The council wants Avondale to forge its own path. Goodyear, Buckeye, Tolleson, Litchfield Park, Peoria, all great cities, all great towns, but they have to create their own path, the way that they see best. Avondale has to do the same thing. So we set together the strategic plan. Mike Tyson had a great quote about plans. You know it, right? Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. So you're probably asking yourself, COVID was a punch in the mouth, 2020, how did we do? So you've seen some of the highlights here. I don't want to rehash some of the highlights, but you've seen some of the things. So I'm going to touch on some of the higher level stuff. The Crumford Report, which is a real estate reporting report that every real estate office in the state uses, has ranked Avondale the hottest housing market in the valley. In fact, the city of Avondale was the only city in the state of Arizona to have triple-digit growth in its residential permits last year. So Wallet Hub in October of 2020, they do this every year, and they announce their best cities, fastest growing cities, they rank it on growth, they rank it on a bunch of things. So for this October report, Wallet Hub nationwide, they used 14 criteria to rank large, mid, and small cities. And small cities are anybody under 100,000 people. Avondale was ranked number 1 in the state of Arizona for criteria like job growth, median household income growth, unemployment rate decrease, increase in number of businesses along with 10 other ones. Number 1 in the state of Arizona. Hold on, hold those. It gets better. This is like a movie or something. It gets better. And there's more. We were number 18 in the nation. Out of every city under 100,000 people, we were number 18. And when I tell you that success story, when I tell you about that, that's not my success story. That is our city council. That is our city leadership. That is everyone, all the men and women who work every day, who came to work every day in 2020 and said, I'm not going to let COVID affect me. I have a job to do. I have a passion. I have a dedication to the city. I have a dedication to the residents. And that speaks more to me than anything else on this list or anything else that you're going to see is the dedication of our employees. We just had our first, well, not our first, but our most recent budget meeting. And seeing how revenues are doing, seeing how expenses are doing. And Avondale will wind up at the end of fiscal year, we hope. It's a plan, Lindsay. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Lindsay. With almost $50 million in our general fund. That's the reserve fund. That tells you that the plan that we put in place for the last 5 years is working. Everything that we've put into it, all the planning, everything else is working. Now my hope is that I'm not going to have no wood up here. I want to knock on wood and say that nothing happens between now and July 1st. Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay's knocking on wood. So you saw some of the highlights up there. There's more. ACOS number 1 opened up, and I say ACOS number 1 is because I hope ACOS number 2, 3, and 4 open up pretty quickly. 63,000 square foot, Tim's smiling. 63,000 square foot Class A medical office building. Phoenix Children's Sports Medical Clinic is building out their facility in Avondale. Darby from Clear Sky has announced that they're building a 43,000 square foot rehabilitation hospital in Avondale on McDowell Boulevard. You were so excited you knocked over our new mug. That was great. Bioplasma has called Avondale home. You can't have a medical corridor without medical facilities. Would you agree? So this year has been an incredible accomplishments for everything that we're doing in that area. You heard about Alamar. Alamar is just one. You've got Vista Verde, you've got Verde Trails, you've got so many other developments that are coming into Avondale. We expect in 2021 about 800 new homes. And I would tell you that that number for me, and council, shake your head, nod your head, I think somewhere between 500 and 800 homes a year is perfect for us. It allows our team to give great customer service. It allows our team to meet with the builders and the developers. And it allows our residents who are moving into our city to make sure and to know that the home that they're building is a quality home. So we're excited about that. The Fairway Drive off-ramp, which is part of the whole MAG Regional Council thing. Fairway Drive off-ramp has been in the works since Marie was mayor. And this year it got built and it opened. It's supporting all the industrial space just west of there, but there's 750,000 square feet of employment that's going in just east of there. 3 million square feet of industrial warehouse logistics will open up in the city in the next year or two, including Amazon merchandise, which took down 100,000 square feet at 107th Avenue and I-10. So it's great having Amazon in the city of Avondale. It's a feather in our cap, and we're glad to have them here. I mentioned Mayor Marie. So this year, we opened up our new resource center. And Marie, and I see Gina Montes out there. Gina was our first neighborhood and family services director. Marie was the impetus when she was mayor. And you've heard me tell the story 100 times about why we needed this facility. We opened up this new facility, over 30,000 square feet, at the Marie Lopez Rogers complex. That complex, our hope, will hold our new police station and fire station that we moved from Western Avenue there. And we hope that'll happen, Charles, next 2 or 3 years, 2 years. You heard Charles talk about our public safety people, and I see Brian DePaul out there. I see the fine gentlemen in blue who protect us every day. This year we expanded our police headquarters. Much more needed space, much more needed capabilities. We broke ground, or soon will break ground, on our 5th fire station. Those facilities help us fulfill a commitment that this council made to our residents and our business owners, that public safety would come first. And it's also a commitment to the people who protect us every night, every day. We need to invest money back into our city, and that goes into infrastructure. $30 million is going into infrastructure in historic Avondale, because it's only right that the people who helped build this city, who are the foundation of this city, share in its success. And if you haven't been down Western Avenue for a while, go down to Western Avenue. There's some great restaurants. There's the Pasta Factory down there, which is great Italian food. Sherry and I, one of our favorites down there. There are so many new restaurants and so many new venues. Please venture down to Western Avenue. For everything that's happened in 2020, I wanted to have a discussion about inspiration and hope and light and positivity. And as I was researching for this topic, I'm a big fan of the Harvard Business Review, and I read articles from them quite a bit. And in 2011, they talked about inspiration and how it happens. And the way they described it was a force or influence that inspires someone, a person, place, experience, etc., that makes someone want to do or create something. Would you agree? When you've been inspired, is it usually something that you've seen, something that you've heard, right? Something that you've been a part of? In COVID, there were a lot of inspirational stories that happened in Avondale. There were neighbors knocking on other neighbors' doors. Do you need supplies? Especially during the great toilet paper run of 2020. Knocking on doors, what do you need? Messages going through the Nextdoor app. So-and-so needs food, they haven't been able to get to the store. And people would drop off groceries and bags for people they didn't even know. And I know that happened in other cities. But in Avondale, as tight-knit as we are, it just means so much more. So I want to share some of the inspirational stories that happen in Avondale every year, but especially in 2020. Chris Byers, who's an Avondale fire captain. There was a shooting in Westgate in July. Chris Byers was there with his family. He hears the gunshots. He knows what they are. He makes sure that his family's safe, and then he makes sure that the people who are in the restaurant, the establishment, are hunkered down and he's safe. Shooting stops. He doesn't hear any more gunfire. He goes out there and starts administering first aid to the people who were shot. One of the women whose child was saved said to them that God had sent them, that those people were angels. That's inspirational, is it not? It's someone who gives of themselves with no thought of harm to serve someone else. That's amazing to me. On New Year's Day in Avondale, there was a fire. It was on the news. It was in the paper, and it was on TV and YouTube and everywhere else. Carolyn Palish sees her neighbor's house across the street, smoke coming out of the garage. She sees smoke. She puts on her robe. She puts on her fuzzy slippers, and she runs across the street. And it's all on Ring video, the Ring doorbell video. And she is banging on that door to get the family out. She doesn't know this family. She has waved to them as they pull in the garage, as they've driven by, but she doesn't know them. Bangs on the door, bangs on the door, bangs on the door. They finally come out. She tells them there's a fire, there's smoke. They grab the kids, they grab the animals. She's in the house pulling people out of the house. And if you look at the video, go online and look at the video. And you will see fire coming out of the garage door a couple feet away from her. Inspiring. Someone who didn't think about anything else but saving a family who she didn't know, but knew it was the right thing to do. Inspiration can move a person from apathy to action and changes the way we envision our capabilities of our world. You've heard me talk about 2020, a year unlike any other year. There's a lot of people who need inspiration. There's a lot of people who need hope. I look at my city council and I look at everything that you do in the community, all the help, everything that you provide, all the inspiration. But the truth is, not everyone here is from Avondale. So how do we reconnect with those people in our communities, in our cities, in our neighborhoods? How do we step up and help them? How do we say, yes, I will help. Yes, I will act. And just plain yes. The one thing I would ask you to take away from tonight is that you and I can be the change that we're looking for. We can be the inspiration that makes the difference in those who are looking for hope, those who are looking for light, and to feel once again something bigger than themselves. Tonight I'm asking you to be the snowball in your community, to reach out to those people who really need you, to those people who are suffering. So would you all agree that you will go back to your communities and do that with us tonight? Can I get it? Thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. And I hope it was a conversation. I hope it was a discussion. I know that you had other places to be. Some of you haven't gone home yet from work. Some of you haven't seen your families all day. Thank you for sharing this brief time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again. Council, thank you so much.